uh, Florida, biggest keys are going to be, one, we can't go in there and turn the ball over. They turn teams over on 24% of their possessions, which is going to be a huge deal, particularly without X. I thought, Gaines and Justice had good practice today, so hopefully we can carry that over to tomorrow. We're going to have to rebound the ball. They're top 25 in the country in offensive rebounding, so we have to do a good job on the glass. And then we're certainly going to have to guard him without fouling him. Castleton gets fouled on over 60% of his possessions. So we've got to do a good job of keeping him off the offensive glass and where he gets putbacks and gets fouled. We got in a lot of foul trouble there last year. Castleton really, really hurt us, and he's a very good player, and Appleby's a good player. Myron Jones is a kid we recruited, very good shooter. McKissick brings some toughness, some shooting, some driving ability. Fleming, they're kind of like us in the sense that Fleming's their second leading scorer, transfer from Charleston Southern, two-time Defensive Player of the Year in the Big South, and they bring him off the bench. And so DeRugi's a kid who's really hurt us dating back to when he was at Louisiana Tech. C.J. Felder's player I've known for a long time. He's from South Carolina and was at Boston College. So, they've got a good group, tough group. They didn't play great against Alabama. They were coming off the COVID pause. I thought they played really well at Auburn. They played Auburn much better than we played Auburn. The final score wasn't indicative of how good a game it was. I thought they played really well. They played with great toughness. They played with great poise in a tough environment. And so it'll be a very difficult game for us in Gainesville tomorrow.
Your first true road game, you shot 28.6%. It's gotten better the last two games. What went into the last couple of games?
Well, we'll see if we can do it again on the road. We took better shots. We took better shots. You take better shots, you get a better chance of them going in. So we'll see if we can carry that over to tomorrow. I mean, maybe we got to play with better poise if that's the case.
You said Xavier's going to be out.
Yes.
Justice, I'm assuming, is going to get those minutes like you alluded to. What were you looking at? What are you looking out of him for? What are you
Justice?
Yeah.
I mean, Justice he's a really, really good player. And I mean, he should be a high school senior right now. But he's a talented player. And he plays at great pace. He's got tremendous pace. What does he have on the season? Like one turnover in about 30 minutes. One or two turnovers in 30 minutes. I mean, he's very smooth with the ball. He doesn't get rattled. He's a great shooter. He's a very, very good shooter. He'll be able to shoot off ball screens. He can make some challenge shots. So I mean, we expect him to step in and play well. We brought him here because he's a really good player. We brought him here because we believe in him, and we wouldn't have played him at Auburn if we didn't think he was ready to go. And he was certainly ready to go, and he's learned from that, and I think he'll be even better tomorrow night. So we have a lot of confidence in him.
What is it about, I guess, playing in Gainesville that gives LSU problems? They've lost, I think, 10 of their last 13, dating back to when Brady was coaching. What is it about that place?
Oh, I mean, they've got good teams. I mean, probably most of the time we've gone on there with not the better team. I mean, when Donovan was there, I mean, they've had and Coach White's had some really good teams. I mean, they've had really good teams. It's a great atmosphere. Students get into it. The Rowdy Reptiles there, so it's a great atmosphere. They got great teams. They got really good players. They got great coaching. So any place is tough to win.
I know this is right up your alley, but 2 emotional wins last week. How much have you stressed staying focused and heading into a tough road environment?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that. We've talked about. I mean, we've yet to play a complete game. We didn't play a complete game against Tennessee. We had the lapse there, and so it's going to take a complete game for us to win on the road, and we haven't been able to accomplish that yet. And so that's at the top of the list of what we want to try to get done in Gainesville is play a complete game, beginning, middle, end. Start the game well, finish the first half well, start the second half well, get the thing to a 6-minute game, do what we do in a 6-minute game. We haven't been able to do that. We haven't done that in a game in a long, long time. And so we've got to focus in on that and get better in those areas.
Obviously, Castleton's a guy who poses a lot of problems. Just how big of a game is this going to be for Efton? Obviously, coming off a game where he just struggled with foul trouble and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's the second leading rebounder in the league to Shibwe at Kentucky. So I mean, he's a monster. He does a great job wedging himself around the basket for offensive rebounds. He's got great skill. They're going to try to take advantage of him versus our switching. They posted him first play of the game last year on Cam to take advantage of our switching, and so we've got to be aware of that and ready for that. And, we've got to do the best we can to limit him to one shot, limit him to one shot, and guard him without fouling him. I mean, he leads them in free throws by a wide margin. He's 14th in the country in free throw rate. Cam led the country in that last year, and he's 14th in the country in free throw rate. So he does a tremendous job of drawing fouls, and we've got to guard him without fouling him. We got to make sure that we make it difficult for him to get the ball, and that's not just on the guys guarding him. We got to have great ball pressure. We got to try to force their catches out. There's a lot of complexities that go into making it tough to get the ball in the post.
I heard you on your radio show last week talk about turnovers, and
You're the only one listening, probably.
I love
We
it.
appreciate that.
The turnovers, you're a little bit more lenient with this year's team. Obviously, defending without fouling is something that this team is working on right now. Just curious, is it team to team? Do you have a general philosophy like you did with turnovers, where I know you say you like to play.
So here's the thing. So, our offense, it was really good last year. We were, top 5 in the country, top 3 in the country. But we didn't play all that fast. We were just extremely efficient. Our tempo was in the 80s. Radio show, Chris Blair loves tempo, right? So we were in the 80s in tempo. So when you're at that level, you can't turn the ball. There's just not going to be as many turnovers. There's not as many possessions. There's not as much stuff going on. This year, when we're playing faster, we're in the 30s in terms of our pace. There's just going to be more mistakes. When you're playing faster, there's more mistakes. That's just all there is to it. Now you can overcome those mistakes because there's more possessions, there's more things going on. So yeah, I've always liked my teams to keep it around 10 turnovers. This team I've kind of given up to 12. 6.5 is not a bad number for us. Our problem isn't the turnovers; it's the type of turnovers we have. We have way too of our 16 turnovers. We're having 4 to 6 of them are live ball turnovers that we can't defend. Like last year, if we had a live ball turnover, team was probably going to lay it in on us anyway. So what was the difference? We might as well have tried to score or thread a pass or do something like that to score, because even if we got to get back and set our defense, they were probably going to score on us. Well, this is different. We can't have those live ball turnovers because we need to be able to get back and set our defense, because our defense is solid.
You already talked about not having X, but how much does the offense change without him and having Eric and Justice run the unit for you?
Well, we're going to do what we do. We're not changing our plays or changing anything that we do. Like I said, those guys are here for a reason. They're really good players. They definitely bring some different aspects to the table. They bring some different strengths to the table. We're going to play to those strengths. I watched film with them yesterday for a while. We're going to watch a bunch of film tonight in Gainesville, the 3 of us. We're going to go through the plays. I'm going to make sure that some of the stuff that they don't feel comfortable with, I'll scratch tonight, that they don't feel comfortable running. We're going to go through my play card, and we'll scratch what they don't like. So we're going to have to, we'll probably have a smaller set of stuff that we're going to run, but we just got to run it really, really well. We've got a bunch in right now. We put in 3 new sets. We got a bunch of stuff in. And then I'll see what they feel comfortable with, what they don't feel comfortable with. And if they don't feel comfortable with it, we ain't running it.
Right, and you spoken before about Eric Gaines, I guess electricity with the ball, just turnover problems can happen from time to time. Have there been any conversations about just being?
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday. We went through everything. I thought those 2 were really, really good today in practice. Now that's got to carry over to tomorrow, but they were solid. They did a good job playing out of the ice. They did a good job playing out of the traps. They did a really, really nice job of that. And so hopefully that'll carry over to tomorrow in a hostile environment.
Right, and just lastly, that was their first, true road test in SEC play at Auburn. How much do you think that can factor into going to Florida?
Well, hopefully we learn some lessons from it, because if we do the same thing we did at Auburn, it's going to be lights out in Gainesville pretty quick. So hopefully we learn some lessons and have a little bit more composure and play with a little bit more poise, play with a little bit more discipline, and we continue to play extremely hard.
Appreciate the answer on turnovers. My question was about the defense, though. Do you have a little bit more leniency with your defense because you are more aggressive and might be able to
It's a two-part question, wasn't
yeah,
it? The
well,
first
I
part
guess,
was
sure.
about that.
The first part was setting the stage for the actual question. Yes. No, I mean, you're going to be aggressive on defense, and that's going to lead to fouls. And you've already said you're not afraid to play with three.
The fouls. So, yeah, we ran the foul count up pretty good the other night. But like what we can't have is like Brandon Murray's foul 93 feet from the basket where he's reaching in on a like that's not a great foul for us. That's where you really run the foul count up, is when you do some things like that. We miss some checkouts and Wani shoves the guy in the back. That's an obvious call. We have 3-on-1 to get the rebound and Day shoves the guy. Those are the ones that we have to cut back. That's what adds up to 14-7 in the first half, and them shooting a ton of 37 free throws and us shooting whatever we shot. So those are the ones that are needless, that are just overly aggressive and not necessary. And we actually went through that in film on Monday with the guys. Some of the individual film we do with them, and then some of the team film as well. But those are the ones that we've got to chop those out, because like you said, we're going to naturally have fouls with as aggressive as we are defensively. We're trapping the post, we trap in the full court. I mean, you're going to foul a little bit when you do that. It's all right. They can't call them all. So you're going to foul a little bit when that happens. But we've got to cut out on the needless fouls that don't impact the game and don't really get anything out of them.
You call that silly fouls or something else? That's not my real
Just
question.
call them unnecessary fouls, unnecessary risks.
Thought you might have a colorful word for it.
Huh?
Thought you might have a colorful word for it.
No, I don't.
You mentioned last night, Justice, you cross-trained him a little bit when he got back. What did he play mostly in high school?
Played point. Played point for his AAU team. He's played point in high school. I mean, he's a point. He can play, he's a combo guard. He can play the 1. He can play the 2. And he's going to play both. He's going to back up Murray tomorrow night at the 2. Now, Murray will play 30, 32 minutes at the 2, barring no foul trouble. But the biggest issue with our foul trouble, Cobble, is our middle drives. We're giving up way too many middle drives. We gave up 8 middle drives that led to fouls in the last game, which are killers. That's what we went over in the film. But Justice, back him up at the 2 and back Gaines up at the 1. And so, he can play both positions. He's very, very sharp, very, very smart, unbelievably smart kid. He studies everything. He watches a ton of film. He knows what's going on. He wants to be a great, great player, and he's going to be a great, great player here sooner rather than later. So, like I said, we're excited about him. We believe in him. Our team believes in him, and he'll be good out there tomorrow.
How much do you feel the excitement surrounding basketball in Louisiana right now? I know you don't listen to all the national rankings and all that, but you and Woman's both in the top 15. How cool is it to see what's being built right now at the PMAC?
It's great. I mean, you don't really get out very much. I got out last night for the radio show. It's about the extent of me getting out during the week. But it's great for our school. It's great for our programs. There's probably not too many schools that have both teams in the top 15, I wouldn't think. Maybe probably less than a handful, and that's what you want. If you don't do it to be the best, what are you doing it for? And so, we want to be the best in everything that we do, and there's no reason we can't be. I think a lot of times people settle too much because being mediocre and being okay is easy. And so, we want to keep it moving. So it's not like this is some grand accomplishment. There's a lot more that we can do. We can get a lot better. But it's certainly a credit to our players. We're unranked in the preseason, and now we've moved up. But everybody likes a winner. So if you win, everybody likes that. So there's obviously excitement when you win. If they're wearing purple and gold and they're keeping score, our people care if you win. And they'll support you if you do.
I was going to say there's support for you when you win. 2 questions. Could you give us just an update on how Xavier is responding to treatment? And then you're talking about the middle drives. Is that what is catching Efton in trouble?
Yeah, Efton, part of Efton, I feel so bad for him, man. He 1 or 2 of his fouls a game are really not his fault. He's cleaning up somebody else's junk. somebody else is messed up, and you don't see that. Somebody else, he's cleaning up somebody else's mistake, and he almost has to foul, and it's I feel bad for him, and we're going to get better. He's really close to playing really, really well. He's really, really close. He's right there. He ain't far away at all. Like he's right there, and so he'll be good. And X is doing great. I mean, he was up moving around today. I think obviously we're going to hold him out for tomorrow. He's not going to play tomorrow. He couldn't play tomorrow, but I mean, there's a shot he could play Saturday. There's a good shot he could play Saturday. Depending on how he continues to respond, and then we'll, like I said, but we're not going to rush him back. Like I want to be 100% sure, it's there. I want to make sure that he's comfortable. He's comfortable in the brace. We got to get him running a little bit. He's walking and moving around well. He doesn't have the limp anymore. He has no swelling. He's been getting treatment 3 and 4 times a day. He went home with the machine last night and had his knee hooked up at home. So, I mean, he's doing everything he can, and he was over in his chair coaching everybody today. So he's doing everything he can to get back as soon as possible, but we're not going to rush him back. I mean, we've got to – look, we dodged a major issue here, and, we need to make sure that nothing reoccurs.
Understand from your radio show.
We're going to set a new world record for longest press conference.
From your radio show last night,
I can't get this over with.
The
Everybody's got more questions.
The water temperature has advanced to lukewarm. If you go in the top 10, will it get hot?
We got lukewarm water now.
But if you get to the top 10,
lukewarm water.
Well, if you get to the top 10, you think it'll get hot?
By 5:30 yesterday afternoon, or 6:30 last night, we had lukewarm water. It was cold all day. We had lukewarm water by 6:30 yesterday afternoon. That's progress. We're making progress. The roof is still. Luckily, we hadn't had any rain. But I appreciate y'all getting the water warmed up. That was much appreciated. Y'all being able to accomplish that for us. Much appreciated. Anybody else? No. He couldn't play. He could. I don't think he could play. All right, we good?